exceptions. You are, I think, the only non-coastal Democrat who's in the leadership. If Democrats take control of the majority, are you going to be trying to stay in leadership? Are you going to try to move up in leadership?
Well, I'm focused, I would say probably 99.9% of my time making sure that we do win back the majority because we have so much at stake. It's an honor to be able to serve in the majority, and I think what my colleagues saw when they were electing the co-chairs of the Policy and Communications Committee is I come from a Donald Trump district. There's only 13 Democrats in all of the U.S. House of Representatives who come from a district that Donald Trump won. And I also won by 20 points. So it was the largest margin of any Democrat in a Trump district also. So my goal, should we win back the majority, and I hope the American public will put their faith back in us again so that happens, but is to run for a higher level position. Right now, my plan is to run for the Assistant Democratic position, that in the whole rank of leadership, that's the number 4 in that. And, you know, the voice that I hope to bring to that leadership table as we move forward is it's not enough just to win back the majority, which, again, we've got to stay focused on, but we've got to keep the majority. And that's the kind of experience that I hope that my colleagues would say that I could bring to the leadership table, making sure that we are smart in the 2 years that would lead up to 2020 and keep the majority after that.
So, Kristen, we talked to Steve Kornacki last hour about red state America, blue state America. You've been seeing a lot of Democrats complaining about the fact that only 16% of America control over 50% of the votes in the United States Senate. Part of that problem is that Democrats have been confined to the coast. There aren't a lot of people like Congresswoman Bustos who control middle America areas, districts. And we're talking about Bill Clinton. It wasn't so long ago that you had a Democratic president that won every state up and down the Mississippi River. Are Democrats, do you get the sense that this year Democrats are finding candidates in middle America that may actually be able to represent non-coastal districts a bit better than they have in the past?
I think Democrats have done a reasonably good job of trying to find candidates that will be good fits for districts to make the challenges that they're putting against Republican incumbents really tough ones. It hasn't been the case everywhere, but you've got a lot of places sort of where Republicans have not faced strong challenges in a long time that are now suddenly in this tough political environment. They're also facing a candidate on the other side who is a plausible candidate. You know, the reason why a lot of folks in middle America are kind of don't gravitate toward the Democratic Party is that it's not just that they may disagree over things like tax rates or size and scope of government. There's a real and this isn't just folks in middle America, but there's a sense that folks in the other political party have contempt for me, and so I don't want anything to do with them. I think a lot of folks in middle America feel like the coasts have contempt for them, which is something Donald Trump was able to tap into very effectively by finding candidates who are from these communities, who are given the flexibility by the national party to focus on the district itself. That makes things much more challenging for Republicans trying to hang on to their seats, which is a little different than what we saw in 2010 with Republicans, when you had a lot of opportunities for pickups, where the sort of the national grassroots, this was the Tea Party movement moment. They really wanted folks that were sort of ideologically pure, which meant that there were some seats that Republicans maybe could have picked up additionally in those waves that they didn't. So I mean, those were great elections for Republicans, but giving your candidates the ability to be more ideologically flexible, to fit the district that they're in, is really crucial for any national party wanting to expand their ranks.
Congresswoman, the Democrats, from a branding point of view, have clearly lost their way. I've been working with the DNC on their midterm messaging. If I anointed you right now Chief Marketing Officer of the Democrats, give me their brand going forward. Tell it to me.
That we're fighting for the people, and it's a clear contrast between what we're fighting for and what the other side is fighting for. You look at the Republicans, and it's, you know, of the rich, by the powerful, for the lobbyists, and you know, any Democrat.
But that message is not, unfortunately, what Trump has been brilliant at getting out there is that, you know, we are the populist party, where we all know the tax plan suggests that somebody suggests differently. So how do you take the emperor's clothes off? And to just say we're for the people, we got to do more than that. How do we put more of a sharp edge on that?
Well, I don't know if it's a sharp edge, but we have the policies to back that up. We know that, hey, look, when I go home and walk the supermarket aisles and talk to everyday people, and I'm not talking about folks who vote Democratic in every Republican, or they may be independents or maybe never vote. They want us to know, they want Democrats to know, or anybody in Congress to know, what are we going to do to bring down the cost of health care? What are we going to do to rebuild America? Because believe me, when you've got a 7,000 square mile district, you are dodging potholes everywhere you turn. You're seeing the side of roads crumbling. When I'm in a place like New York today, you know how hard it is to that commute. So what are we going to do to rebuild America? And maybe, perhaps most importantly, what are we going to do to clean up this mess in Washington? Make sure that we don't have so many folks who are self-dealing. We've got to address the corruption before we can get into the real policies. But Donnie, I know that's not like overly sexy, so to speak, but those are the things that people